Joined by head coach Scott Thacker from Roanoke College Swimming. And coach, how are you doing today?
JJ, I'm great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. We've got the prelude to the swimming season coming up here this weekend, actually starting off with the ODAC relays at Washington and Lee. First time you'll be able to hit the pool here with your squad in a competition format since winning the men's championship last year and coming up second in the women's side. Just talk a little bit about reaction from that. You and I haven't had a chance to talk formally about it, if you will, but reaction to actually hoisting that first piece of ODAC hardware.
Yeah, no, it's certainly a special meet after a very special year. I think anytime you can put yourself in a position to potentially win a championship, it's exciting. And then being able to do it and being able to do it with our whole men's team there and our whole women's team there was certainly a really remarkable time in my coaching career. And it definitely kind of put an exclamation point on just, everything that needed to happen to get us as a program from, point A in the beginning of the season to point B to that meet. But no, I was an incredibly happy coach with an incredibly happy staff and a very excited team.
So let's take a step back even further a little bit and kind of talk about the process, because you mentioned the special year that it was last year. And really it's been an interesting, for using a nice word, last 20 months, if you will. We get through the 2020 championship in February, and then everything looks like we're going to be moving ahead to the national championship. WNL's got a really good squad on both sides. It might make some noise at nationals again. And then everything falls apart at the beginning of March 2020 because of COVID. Working through the next year, trying to get everybody into the pool, and really all the sports for the ODAC, trying to get those competed. Nothing happens in the fall. We start to put some things together for the winter. And here we are with this new championship format at Liberty, where you're able to come out with the trophy on the men's side, perform very well on the women's side as well, with Lynchburg winning that championship. Just talk a little bit about going through the process and what it was like, not just keeping your team locked in, but keeping you locked in for once we were able to get back out there in the pool.
Right. So I think for our team, like we used that hope of competing as something that really drove us, and to keep us encouraged to, follow protocols and mitigate all the risks that we could, and to keep ourselves healthy and safe. I think that we all, when we were returning to play, last season, we all had a lot of challenges in terms of lane space and how many people in each lane and how many practices you need to do and how many times a week. And I know for a lot of programs, it took several weeks and a majority of the first semester to be able to get back into something that even resembled a full training cycle, And I think, not competing that fall was something that took some pressure off, right? We got to focus on, the swimming that we got to do and our people a little bit more. And so it was really nice to be able to step back into kind of an abbreviated season in the spring. And it was certainly, once we learned that we were pursuing, meaningful athletic competition, and later on planning and pursuing a championship meet in a very different format, that was something that the team really got behind and really got excited about. And it really kind of confirmed that hope, and really confirmed, that what they dedicated themselves to and all the efforts, in and out of the water that they made to get from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
And I think you took advantage of that situation, obviously, with a great campaign coming out of that. Lots of all conference swimmers, both on the men's and women's side, both swimmers of the year, men and women's side. Take a look at coming into this year now. We still have COVID, which is a thing. So we still have to maintain some of the protocols that we're working at, but getting toward a quote unquote more normal process for the season. Talk about what it's been like going through this fall as you get prepped to go ahead and hit the pool this weekend at Washington and Lake.
Yeah, definitely. So I think just we started with a normal move-in, right? Last year we had to delay move-in. I think COVID, the energy and the alarm around COVID was a lot higher, and we're definitely kind of in a more normal feel. We started classes on time, classes are in person. And I think even those two really little things helps our athletes, feel a little bit normal, that, things are going to be normal. It makes them a lot more comfortable. We got to start, pretty much at a normal time in a normal circumstance with a normal training cycle. We had our intra squad last weekend, and really excited about where we're at, really excited about The men's class that we brought in and our women's class that we brought in, we're really excited about kind of the firepower and the depth that we've brought in on both sides. And really, I'm really excited to get back to a meet with our full conference in full swing and competing with one another. I think that the ODAC has done a phenomenal job, since 2017 of bringing in new programs and really growing and filling in a really robust, competitive, and rapidly excelling conference. And to have everybody back is something that we've all been looking forward to since COVID first started happening. I'm definitely a firm believer that our conference is better when we're all together, and we make each other stronger. And I can't wait to be on deck with all my coaching colleagues, with all of the swimmers back into really what's one of the most fun meets I've ever been to with the relay meet.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we're going to expand upon that a little bit, but I want to start with your squads first. And let's start on the women's side here. All the all conference people you have back, who do you expect to be your leaders on the women's side leading you into the pool this season?
I think when you look at last year and you look at who we have this year, we're looking at our seniors to continue to lead the way for us. They're part of one of our biggest recruiting classes, and obviously we'll have a lot to replace with them, but really looking for their leadership to continue to help them, excel in the conference and really push each other and to encourage one another and to, continue to be in that fight in the top three and really have a really competitive meet within the top three.
On the same trend, talk about the state of your men's program right now entering the season.
We're along with our guys too, we're really lucky to have some phenomenal leaders between our juniors and our seniors, and both for men and women, those two groups have really stepped up in terms of their energy on deck and making sure the team's motivated and just reminding us that, hey, we have a remarkable opportunity this year as a program, just with how full we are, with who we have coming in and who we've brought in and the returners that we have, and just I call it firepower, but the ability that we have, within our roster. Everyone's just really excited and really buzzing and really expecting some special things to happen.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the growth of the league right now. Let's use you as an example. The first program you came in, what was the size of your roster, and what's the size of that roster now?
We had 16 when we first started. So on deck, our first meet, we had 16, and this year we have 44. And that's homeostasis for us. We like being a team of 44 to 46, and I think obviously you have Brad Dunn at Lynchburg as well, who's really boasted a big roster and brought in a lot of incredible swimmers and great people, and I think that lifts the conference up, to have full rosters and full teams, and it's something that I've always taken a lot of pride in, not so much only being the coach of Roanoke, which I absolutely love. I love our school and I love our people, and I certainly love our team, to be a part of that, just to be a small part of that growth. And one of those teams that were brought in has been something that's really special to me and means a lot to me.
Scott, I think you're right, because we've got teams that have seen a resurgence, programs coming back, like at Randolph, Virginia Wesleyan adding, Bridgewater adding men over the last several years. And you talked a little bit about when you're mentioning about the conference and whatnot and the growth and about what the league is. Last year, when we were able to put some things together and really have a good meet there at Liberty, we were still missing a lot of our conference that were there. Washington Lee wasn't there. Randolph-Macon wasn't there. Two programs that have won titles since the calendar turned in 2000. Obviously, Washington Lee really being the talisman on both the men's and women's side in the conference. So talk a little bit about that. Expand a little bit more on your thoughts of having everybody there and the programs like you and like Lynchburg, like Bridgewater, and like Hampton-Sydney, and that are growing, like Randolph-Macon having research that are growing to really get to that level that Washington Lee has established for over so many years of their program.
Yeah, no, I think what's been nice is that we've had a stellar example of what a program of excellence looks like in WNL, right? And I know that all the coaches across the league very, very much respect and really admire what they do, and that's what we're aiming for, right? And they're setting the mark, in a lot of different ways, and especially in a competitive way, and it encourages us to work hard and to find good people that fit well on our team. And I think when you look at growth and teams growing, within, the top, 6 or 7 of the league. What that does is as it adds more talent to the meet, it becomes a much more, I think, balanced and engaging meet. And for me, I look at different conferences where, you have, 7 or 8 really, really good teams, and, maybe the top 1 or 2 are pretty set, but, that meet at the other end of the spectrum in terms of, top 8, it can be really rich and really vibrant and provide some really great, I think, drive to continue to get better, but also just add to the fullness and the competitive prowess of our conference in the meet.
I think you're right. I think we've seen some really good competition over the last several years, for spots up and down the ranks. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens here over the last, 2 years that we didn't have Washington and Lee in Liberty last year, but now they'll be back. Your program has grown. Lynchburg's program has grown. What's Randolph-Macon going to look like? I'm interested to see what's going to happen here in the top 4, top 3, maybe top 5 on each side of the ledger here, to see what we've got when we get down to Greensboro. And that's the final piece I want to talk about. We had a great opportunity to compete at Liberty last year, a very new facility, the Liberty Natatorium. But we're heading back down to the Greensboro Aquatic Center, which we've enjoyed for several years down there. National championship host for Division III, ACC host several times. I think they've added a 4th pool since we've been down there. So talk a little bit about it, just having the facilities that we've been able to have at our disposal to compete as well as we do.
Yeah, I mean, we're really spoiled, JJ.
Yeah.
We get to compete and have gotten to compete in, 2 of the nicest long course facilities on the East Coast. And I think being able to be in a position, we moved the meet back. We found a great pool to compete in. Liberty were great hosts for us. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like going to Greensboro to our championship. Greensboro is a great swim meet city. The facility and the staff there take incredible care of us as coaches, and incredible care of our athletes. And to be able to compete at such a storied pool, like you said, ACC championships, NCAA championships, and the list goes on of the really, high caliber and really high profile meets that go in and out of that pool. And, I love the fact that we get to compete there. And that's kind of our home pool for conference, where we get to get excited about going down there and have an incredible facility to compete in.
Well, we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody get in the pool here this weekend, in the coming months leading up to that championship. We'll be down in Greensboro for 4 days in February. But Coach, thank you very much for joining me, and good luck this season.
Thanks, JJ. It was a pleasure.